Hi, my name is Ahmed EL-Mutasim Mohamed Ahmed. I am from Sudan and I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a chairman of Tasmania International for Sustainable Development Company. Today we're going to speak about Sudan and the sanctions, the USA sanctions and macroeconomic of Sudan and how we can get out of this situation. Sudan actually has rich diversified natural resources extending from fertilized 200 million acres of agricultural land, several rivers and aquifers, huge amount of livestock and very rich minerals and oil resources, but conflicted in triple war in south and west of Sudan. And the heavy USA economic sanctions since 1997 prevented it from utilizing these rich resources and push it into low-income fragile country, facing significant domestic and international constraints and a large macroeconomic imbalances despite efforts made towards macroeconomic stability and growth. Following the shock of the secession of the South of Sudan 6 years ago, policy adjustment helped a lot. Despite these efforts, however, large macroeconomic imbalances triggered by the loss of the three-quarter of the oil export continue to constrain growth prospects, along with the weak policies and internal conflicts and United States of America sanctions. While good harvested pushed its course to close 5%, and 2015 extended imbalances widened due to low commodity export prices and expansionary policies and insufficient exchange rate adjustment. The current account deficit was 6% of GDP in 2015, while foreign exchange reserve was 1.5 months of the import. The pro exchange rate continued to depreciate, and the premium soared to 165% of the official rate, remained virtually fixed. The budget deficit is around 1.9% of GDP. Inflation rose 16.5% in July 2016. Consequently, growth is expected to remain modest at 3 to 3.5% 2016 and beyond. Sudan remains in debt distress and ineligible for debt relief under the heavy indebted poor country epoch initiative. Soon it settle its conflicts and get peace around. Sudan arrears to the fund declined and improved to about 969 million SDR at the end of 2016. As a large external debt and arrears hinder access to external finance and weigh heavily on development prospects. Fortunately, before Barack Obama, the previous president of the United States of America, left office in January 2007, gave Sudan a 6 months partial conditional release of United States of America economic sanctions and requested Sudan to improve in 5 issues and give them 5 conditions actually. I'm not going to mention them over here. However, if these 5 conditions are achieved or met by the Sudanese government, a full release from the sanctions will be granted to Sudan. Since then, things started to improve. Since January, when that partially is being given by Barack Obama, at all levels. On the level of improving the conditions at these above 5 issues and in the economic and financial investment levels, as investors are started communicating, bank transfers started to flow, and some Sudanese foreign assets were released, and important export of certain commodities started to flow heavily to Sudan already. Though the big breakthrough will be if Sudan managed to bring all conflicted parties together to the table and let them sign a peace agreement with the help of the United States of America Peace Initiative and get the final release from the United States of America, then the U.S. international community will help Sudan to be released from the debt using the HEPA facility. Ever after, Sudan will be entitled to get a development finance, from the international community and international development community, and the sustainable development goal around. This is what we're going to talk about here, and here and where our Sudan development scenario will start as follows, accompanied with the following reforms that should be done in order to harness such great opportunities. A mix of financial solutions using different financial instruments are required to boost the Sudanese economy while performing the following reforms and establishing the National Development Plan and contribute to improving and maintaining the stable and predictable macroeconomic climate with a very strong macro-physical stance as follow. That means to keep debt to GDP ratio as low as possible, 13 to 14%, and try to maintain inflation level within single digits, and the physical deficit at about 1.4 to 1.5% of the GDP. So the key indicator of the economic are to be watched carefully to maintain for the growth of the business of local, international, private sector, and flow of international investment and investor into the country. The second set of the issues have to do with bureaucratic hurdles and tangles in the way of doing business, and try to perform reforms in grant and using grant and associate available financial and technical assistance to reform the 10 areas as per the doing business units of the World Bank, especially with improving tax administration and policy in order to allow for the growth of domestic resource mobilizations, which will contribute a lot and financing infrastructure, and to coordinate with the international authorities for the public-private partnership verification unit to set this country Sudan public-private partnership certification unit in order to qualify the infrastructure prior to be qualified for finance from sustainable development goal arena. As above reforms and regulation are taking place, investors will flow to the country and donors as well. Multilateral Development Bank will be encouraged to come and invest in the country, but before and while doing the above, the following should be done in order to get prepared the country from its fragile, get it out from its fragile, vulnerable states. Using help versus future opportunity of neighboring rich Arab countries, an effort to grant Sudan 10 billion to 15 billion, together with allocating certain amount of the official development assistance that country will be entitled to it after HEPOC facilities released Sudan from the debt, and a set of series of public and private partnership facilities from a public sector and private sector to be established to serve the essentially to build country infrastructure that will allow investors to follow in the country, and the country reinstate its minimum expense to meet the minimum investment requirement and to cover for the basic human needs as state to pull the people from the poverty, as to decrease the poverty, and also the health and education to be with an acceptable rate. At that instant, to continue doing the following: to establish a special fund from this support remittances and other local private sectors, pension funds representing the private entity, to act along with the coming official development assistance, the other part, together with the domestic resource mobilization being mobilized, and money from the improving tax and other public resources representing the public entity. So, and get them into public-private partnership project types to attract the multilateral development. In this case, IDA or IC or other multilateral development banks that stay using blending innovative finance. In this case, multilateral development will attract institutional investors from private equity or private bond market and go into partnership 10 to 90% basis respectively, or they may utilize the great opportunity available from the private philanthropy of the Gate Foundation and others, such as grant and equity investment and guarantees and debt buy-down. That will play a significant role in financing such opportunities. So the opportunity, as you say, is huge for Sudan to jump out of the poverty, develop its natural resources in an innovative, efficient manner, and convert them into wealth, and consequently contribute to the prosperity of the world. So, from here, I request the United States of America, President Trump, to release Sudan completely from economical sanctions on July 2017, and the international community to extend the necessary help. Ever after, Sudan will pay back generously. I'm sure Sudan will pay back generously. He has a tremendous natural resources, huge in the north, in the east, in the west, and will be complemented if we manage to get our south part of Sudan come back again and rejoin Sudan again. This is so especially to Mr. President Trump, just to release Sudan from the sanctions, and let us have an opportunity to be released from the debt and to get access to the development and use these innovative funds. I'm sure we're gonna get it done, and we are going to contribute to the wealth of the and prosper of the world. Thank you very much, Ahmed EL-Mutasim.